Hi, Glenda. I have been so looking forward to having this conversation with you today because you're definitely one of the special people that I've come across in my fortunate role of training sustainability and service. Thank you for being on Conversations on the Socials, where we just talk about awesome stuff with awesome people.
Thank you for inviting me, Katrina. I'm really chuffed to be here today and have a bit of a chin wag and connect and share.
So we crossed paths probably a few years ago when I was doing some training for the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's strange because I instantly felt like I recognized you at that training. I was like, oh yeah, we're on the same page for sure. And what I'm really interested to hear from, and that I think other people need to hear, is all about your kind of rich career in service to vulnerable people. And I'm particularly interested in your experiences as a ambulance officer, because I have needed ambulance officers. Every time I see them, like they're having a coffee with their ambo buddies, and I just feel like rushing up to them and just buying them coffees and stuff, because I just feel like it's such a beautiful thing to know you can access when things get really scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're really, really fortunate in this country and in this state to have such an amazing ambulance service and such highly skilled clinicians, but also compassionate and empathetic people. So I was AMBO, a paramedic, for quite a number of years, and I loved it. It was an amazing role. I haven't been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years now, but probably what I do miss is that connection with my tribe and being with those, like you said, amazing, credible people that are there for greater good stuff and just helping fellow man. And so, I really enjoyed my time. It was wonderful. And like I said, it was probably the highlight of my working life those couple of decades. I've worked in health for quite some time. I've worked in aged care with the regional assessment team, part of the ACAT team, and I've also done some work with the Child Adolescent Mental Health Service, which is where we met and did your wonderful course, Sustainability and Service.
Yeah.
And I've always done service. All my work has always been about service. It's what makes me tick. It's what makes me happy. What fills my bucket. It's purpose, isn't it? It's purpose for me. It's connection with people and helping people and making their life a little bit easier, a little bit lighter, a little bit more gentle, however that looks. So,
and what's it like to be an ambulance officer? Like, I just imagine that you guys are, you wake up one day and you're just like, yeah, this is what I'm called to do, and I'm going to do it. Like, and then you become this ambulance officer. There's so much training involved, and then like, what are you doing? Are you guys sitting around having coffees and there's nothing going on, and then bang, you're in like some sort of crazy emergency situation, or is it just emergency after like what's a day? What's it like?
Yeah, look, every day is different and you can never pick it. And I remember that the busiest shift I ever had was a Tuesday night, and a Tuesday night, like, you can just never tell. And I love that. I love the variety of the work because you never knew what work you're going to do, what people you're going to meet, where you're going to end up. You travel anywhere, be anywhere, what hospital you're going to go to. So a lot of the work, and things have changed. Things changed over my time as well. We certainly weren't as busy when I started back in the 90s, but by the, well into the 2000s and the 2020s, it definitely got busier and our work changed. But we would do definitely emergencies and acute work, but we did a lot of chronic work and people that had medical problems. Sometimes those were medical emergencies. And as time progressed, we did, and depending on the shift, sometimes you did a lot of drugs or alcohol related work.
Mm-hmm.
And then as time went on and our society, our communities have changed, and just the way we're doing life, and just we started to do a lot more mental health. People were needing help and support in that space. So it's a whole it's a whole gamut of work, and you didn't get to pick or select. It's just closest car, and off you would go. But I always enjoyed that variety. It made it exciting, and
not knowing what you're walking into.
Not knowing. Yeah. But the flip side of that is that you're always working at that really high level. And you've always got your, your sympathetic nervous system in overdrive often. And I didn't actually realise that until I started being an AMBO, and just took time to settle down that sympathetic nervous system and just realise at what level I was running on, and always waiting for the next adrenal hit, and always like a bit heightened whenever you'd go somewhere, especially with large crowds.
Yeah, even if you weren't on shift, right?
No, not on shift.
Even when you're off.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're just like, okay, and you're doing risk assessments, and you're thinking, I know, and you're thinking, what if this happens? And you're looking for your exits, or you're looking for who could help you or support you, or So that, I think that, I can't speak for all AMBOs, but I think that might be a common thing that people do experience after a long period of time in their profession, and just being on that constant alert and feeling responsible that you need to hold that load. And so it took me a while to calm down and, not always have a first aid kit wherever I went. Not quite, but, there's still one in the car. But, just thinking, if someone needs me, I'm going to be there available.
Yeah.
And of course I still would if somebody needed help. And there wasn't anything
to jump in, right?
Well, no, not necessarily. Unless, obviously someone that's is more current with their skill set. Of course I'm going to step back. But if I'm it, I'll have a crack.
Yeah, good. What a great person to have around, because I've been in some emergency situations where I was suddenly required to do CPR and I couldn't remember a bloody thing. So what do you reckon about are you guys trained? Because I can hear what you're saying about the sympathetic nervous system, and I think that's a theme that I see and I hear in myself and in other helping professionals, but it seems to be like on an extreme level for AMBOs and other emergency workers. Like, are you trained in how to turn that off? Is there a way to turn that off, do you reckon? Or did you just kind of have to figure it out yourself?
Yeah. No, we weren't trained in how to turn that off. At New South Wales Ambulance got definitely better, became more focused around wellbeing, and wellbeing definitely was encouraged, like holistic wellbeing and looking after yourself at work, but also when you're not at work, and just things around all the stuff that we should do in terms of exercise and diet and sleep, and not self-medicating with drugs or alcohol. So, aware of all those things, linking in if you needed to see people like with, counselling or whatever you might need in that space, encouraged and supported. But how to actually, and things around meditation, mindfulness, all those things, definitely. But no, there wasn't a class. I don't remember being.
Yeah.
And I just didn't even realise it was a thing. But I mean, when you've worked for so long in that role, and especially if you're on night shift and you're just reclining after a certain time, just trying to, have a bit of rest, and the phone rings, it's that response. I feel like most people would have that adrenal response. Middle of the night when the phone rings, and.
Yeah.
But I've managed to turn it off, but it's taken time, and it's taken a real proactive approach to it. Like, I need to get back to my baseline where I don't feel like I'm on alert, or I'm heightened, or I'm doing risk assessments when I'm at a gathering, or that's just taken time, and just acceptance. I am no longer an AMBO. I'm now an end-of-life doula and a funeral director. So, so
interesting that you're into this new kind of chapter. And you're now in this end of life chapter, like you just mentioned. You're a death doula, and you're is it called funeral director, do you think? Yeah. Very natural.
Holistic funeral.
Holistic funeral director. Was that part of the role that sort of prepped you for this really special thing that you're doing now in the end of life space? Is the AMBO like being present for people's suffering and potentially their end of life in real time prepped you for this?
Absolutely. 100%. During my AMBO days, I saw a number of people die, sometimes expected, sometimes unexpected. But I had a number of experiences where I felt like it could have been done better. People could have been supported better, both the person that had died or was dying and the family. And I always felt like there was a bit of a gap there in our care in terms of definitive care, care at home, care like caring community. And I wasn't quite sure what that was, but I just had a number of experiences. For example, I went to this beautiful elderly couple. Her husband had just probably had a big heart attack while she was making morning tea, had come back in and found him in his chair, called us. We came. We tried to revive him, unable to do so. Made a phone call to his doctor. The doctor was happy to certify. We popped him back to bed. We laid him out, and then I offered to call some family for her. And both her children were interstate, so they couldn't come. And then I offered to call her friends, but she didn't have any that were local, or a lot of them had died because they were elderly. She didn't know the neighbours. So, and then we got another job and we had to leave. And I was like, I don't know who to call. There's nobody for me to call now to come and sit with this lady. Just to wait with her until the doctor could come and see her husband and do the paperwork and give her that certificate, so then she could organise a funeral company to come and collect her husband. And I remember that was such a big, that had a big impact on me. I felt so sad that this lady had just lost her love of 60 plus years and just was left all alone with him, and just no one to just hold her hand, basically, make her a cup of tea, just sit with her, hold that space. Or even just explain process. What's next? What do you need to do next?
Yeah.
So, and then during COVID, I went looking for what am I going to do? Because I kind of knew that I was done amboing, that my bucket was full there and it was time to do something new. And I knew I wanted to do it in something still to do with service, but not sure what that was.
Yeah.
And I just went looking like we all do, jumped on, and then that's when I found the role of an end-of-life doula. So from there, I did some learning, set up a little business and started to care for people in that space, just supporting people that want to plan and prepare for their deaths. Death, providing people with choice and options, and just empowering them and supporting them. Doulas don't give advice. We don't. It's a completely non-medical role. But I just felt like with my learning, working in Ambo land would allow me to offer lots of different things. And end-of-life doulas offer different things, they offer things like advocacy, that emotional support. They do practical stuff like taking people to appointments. So I just felt like being an AMBO all those years really placed me well to navigate that whole medical world with my clients as well. Advocating for them, asking the questions, or feeding back to them answers that were just in plain layman's terms. But just the biggest thing I think that end-of-life doulas do is just holding space.
Yes.
Just holding that emotional load sometimes, or that mental load, organising, so that people can just take that off their shoulders and not have to worry about things. And often clients would ask me to do that or want me to do that because they just didn't want to burden their family or friends with that. So that I was someone that I can hold that load for you. I can, and
Yeah.
you don't have to hold back, or you don't have to worry about saying anything to offend me, or you don't have to protect
Or
me.
upsetting you.
No, that's it. So
it's definitely something that I've noticed, not being sort of an end-of-life doula or anything, but being sort of very interested in and invested in the community now, is that you guys really hold this unique balance of the knowledge around the logistics of leading up to your end of life, and what happens after, in a way that the general public don't necessarily know, because they're actively trying to avoid it, obviously. But also this like energetic step forward. Like, I just noticed all the doulas are the type of people that there is suffering, there is end of life around, there is sickness around, or whatever, and you are all energetically propelled to step towards it.
Yeah.
Rather than to pull away or step away or run away, whereas a lot of people feel compelled to run or avoid or deny. You guys just like energetically lean in, and you bring this knowledge with you that you've acquired over God knows how long. And it's just such a blessing to have around. It really is. So thank you so much for bringing it all to, as an opportunity for the community. And this natural grace, I went and visited the other week, and you're not only bringing this energetic step forward and to step into people's lives, but they can also come to your beautiful space, like, and your beautiful business partner Kylie, who couldn't be with us today, who's just an absolute treasure, and the two of us share a similar bereaved parent story, and so I really appreciate what she's bringing to the table too. Do you want to have a little gush about natural grace? I really, really love that you guys bring this to the Newcastle, Maitland, Hunter area. It's really special.
Thank you. We think it's really special as well. We're really excited to be bringing natural grace to the Hunter Central Coast. And I guess natural grace is a holistic funeral service. And what makes it, there's lots of beautiful things that make natural grace unique, but probably the most defining, or what allows it to bring, the beautiful, unique, nuanced offerings, is that everybody is an end-of-life doula. So everybody that works in the space, both in Victoria and here in New South Wales, we're all end-of-life doulas. So all the offerings and just our care and the way we connect and engage and work with families is through the lens of the end-of-life doula.
Yeah.
So that brings up offerings that are probably not conventional. They're actually traditional offerings, things we used to do maybe 100 or so years ago.
Yeah.
It's like home-based after-death care, where people choose to keep their loved ones at home for a period of time. The law allows you to do that for up to 5 days. And we're all trained, and we have the resources to support families to do that safely. And it's quite a unique offering. And when we do support people to do this, we see a lot of healing in this space when people get to have that little bit of extra time and say their goodbyes on their time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. In their home, in their familiar, comforting environment, on their terms. So there's a lot of heling around.
So much. I mean, I just go on and on and on and on about it. But I'm going to say this because I feel like it can come across better in layman's terms, but I feel like the standard bigger end-of-life care that you get from, I guess, what I would consider to be a traditional funeral service director, which is my experience for up until recently, is death has happened. your person is no longer in the body, and therefore the body has to go somewhere else, and that it's best for everybody if we don't see it, if we have nothing to do with it, that they get prettified in some way. You spend a little bit of time with them looking like that, and somebody else does everything else, and you just go along with, you choose the funeral director or the product based on what they offer and their brand because you like it, or because that's what your family tradition has been and you haven't got the capacity of thinking about it. But what you guys are offering and what death doulas in general are offering are this kind of holistic approach, is that death doesn't get pushed away or hidden away, or it's not for somebody else to deal with, although you can do that if you want. It's to be more like family-led, more involved, more to be treated like a sacred ritual, to follow your intuition, and to start having a relationship with that person who's died. Start rebuilding it according to the new normal, whereas they're not in their body anymore. Is that, do you think is that just a giant word salad that doesn't make any sense?
No, that makes it makes perfect sense to me, because that's exactly what we do. And I think Natural Grace does it very, very well. We are all about slowing down. There's no rush. We encourage people just to pause, and we create space for families just to, in a way, catch up with what has happened, that their loved one has died. And it takes time to process that. And you see that in a lot of cultures, that it does take time. And people, there's something around that 3-day thing, after 3 days. And that's been our experience as well. Sometimes it's longer. We've just had someone recently that wanted that 4th day. But generally by the 3rd day, people have been able to align their heads and their hearts. You know, their heads in terms of they know now, they know that person has died, and they know it's their body now, and just allow their hearts to settle a little bit with that knowledge. And and it's
beautiful.
It's just, it takes time. And I feel sad. I feel sad as a community that we have, like you said, we've medicalized it, we've backdoored it. We have discouraged people to lean into it. We've encouraged people to step back in, that's okay, we'll take care of that. But I think they're, like I said, I just keep coming back to the healing. And we know that when people spend time with their loved ones after they have died, however that looks, and it's such an individual thing. It's not the same for everyone. Everybody needs something different in that space, and it's whatever the family needs. But I think when people do, I think people's bereavements are less intense. They are shorter. They're just that little bit gentler. And I think collectively, as a society, we're going to benefit from that. We really are, on so many levels, in terms of our well-being, our mental health. And I think we do. I think we've just forgotten how to do death. I think, but I have also witnessed when we have supported people to do that home-based death care, or come into our sanctuary and do a vigil and do what we call a ritual washing and dressing of their person. I've seen it many times when people are a little bit apprehensive, scared, fearful.
They've never done it before. They maybe haven't been around a body that was no longer alive.
That's right. And so that's usually how it starts off. And then we'll do a little bit of guidance and a little bit of instruction. And often, before we know it, they're just fully doing it. And we just step back and we just watch, and we just are there to support. And then it's like they do know. It's almost like it is innate. And then they just start. They know what to do and how to care for their person. Then I've seen it so many times. Those people, they go away. It's lighter. It's lighter for them. They feel like they've honoured their person. There's something really powerful around ritual and sharing that space with somebody you love that has died.
And from my perspective, I look at like what's kind of unique to me that Natural Grace is offering our community is like there's lots of, there are people who can help you home vigil and do the end of life body care at home and all those kind of things, right through to your standard funeral directing kind of process. That because you guys have this what's called the sanctuary space, which I visited, and it really is this beautiful, homely, calm, light, clean space, that you guys can offer everything from 4 days home-based vigil where you don't go to nobody looks after the body except the family, right through to, you know, the full classical Glenda and Kylie, can you please look after my person from start to finish? I don't want to be involved. You can offer all of that because you've got this, you've even got this beautiful transport car, which I was just on the day, as you know, I was so emotional because you guys had to go and pick up a young person, but just the car and the beautiful shawl things. Is it a shawl, a blanket that is placed over the person, and then, you know, the space to keep that person's body so beautifully and stored in a way that it maybe needs to be, or looked after in a way it needs to be. Like you can offer the whole thing, and it's just, and I know I can feel it, and I can see how much love that you're holding for this family and this person that's passed away, whose body you're caring for, as if they were still there. It's just, it's so beautiful.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. So even though we do offer these less conventional offerings, we will care for anyone that wants to, who would like to engage with us. Like, yes, we open to working with all families, and we, like you said, can do we do all the funeral planning and arranging as well. And but yes, everybody, regardless of what kind, if they want a ceremony or not a ceremony, a vigil or not a vigil, everybody gets the same care when they come into Natural Grace. They all get really natural care. We don't do any embalming. We use very natural products. Everybody is cared for in a very gentle way, in a very respectful way, because that body has once held a soul, and so there's honouring to be had in that space for who that person was. So we are holistic in our approach. In all our offerings, we do our transfers. We encourage, like you said before, family-led funerals. Another important thing is for us as well is around sustainability in terms of our offerings with our coffins and our casket.
So like it's eco-friendly type, considering
absolutely.
the environment, toxicity levels.
Absolutely, all those things. We offer natural burial. So there's lots of. It's a holistic approach, but well, for me, I I think it's the only way to do death care, and to honour people is offer choices to people and empower them to make those choices. Just let them know what all the choices are, and then not to overwhelm them, but you read a room and you know what people may like. But lots of people don't know what's available, and then when you share with them what's available, they're like amazed. And then people just then, when they do something really authentic and personable, like personal to their person, again, so much healing in that. And even joy and happiness and beauty when they have created something really individual and authentic for their person, like not just cookie cutter.
So like on a practical level, so for example, if your person has died in hospital, Natural Grace would be able to help a person or a family basically be able to avoid a morgue situation and be transported directly to your body care facility, or to be transported to a home vigil if that was going to go on. Is that right?
That's right. Absolutely.
And
Well,
you pick them all through that process.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it would depend on the time of the day that we would go to collect our guests. We call them guests because they just come for a little while and they stay and then they leave again. So we call our people that come into our care, our guests. So if it was just during normal hours, yes, we come and collect them, and we are gentle with our care right from the beginning. We shroud them in a special fabric that's non-permeable and keeps everyone safe. And then, like you said, we tuck them up in a lovely blanket, and then they come into our care. And we accommodate them there until the family decides what they would like to do in terms of ceremony and ritual. Or if they want them to go home, we take them home. And we support them, and we have resources, a special cooling blanket that people can use.
All the practical things.
And we educate people how to keep their person safe and how to keep them safe, so that no psychosocial damage done to anyone or So, and then we're available 24/7 for a phone call if somebody needs us. To come out or just to do some support over the phone. And
Lovely. Very comforting to know that you guys are out there. So if people need to or want to, they can contact you at Natural Grace. What's the website? I'll put it in the show notes.
Well, it's www.naturalgrace. I'll have to look it up now myself. But if you Google Natural Grace, it'll come up, and you'll see all our different, because Natural Grace started in Victoria, so you'll see the different locations. And if you just click on the Hunter Central Coast location, you'll get our contact.
I've got it, Hunter Central Coast at naturalgrace.com.au. Yeah, and there's the website as well.
Yeah, and then you can call us. We're available 24/7. There's always someone on call. So, and we come out and care for anyone at any time of the day or the night, whatever that family needs.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Glenda.
Thank you, Katrina.
And looking forward to seeing how Natural Grace grows, and I'm looking forward to the message getting out there a little bit more into the general public. I just noticed my dad said the other day, I missed the ad. I don't know if you've seen it, just on because I don't watch TV very often, live TV, and there was an ad on just primetime TV. It was for a new kind of funeral service called Bare, BARE or something. And that they're starting to advertise the same sort of message, that there are these other services out there that are, I don't know anything about them and I don't know them, but I was thinking, wow, the message is starting to get some momentum, I reckon.
Yeah, that people have choice in this space. Yeah, absolutely.
How beautiful. And I can't think of two more lovely women that I would trust with my loved person. So
thank you, Katrina. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate your time today to talk with me. And
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.